You okay, Vanessa?
Yes.
David says yes, so we're ready to go. Thank you both. Well, good morning, everybody, and welcome. We'll call to order this special meeting of the Lawrence County Board of Commissioners. Today is Thursday, November 7th of 2024. A couple of housekeeping items. We'll note that this special meeting was advertised in accordance with the Sunshine Law. And would also request, if you have any type of a cell phone, if you could please put it on vibrate or silent. We'd appreciate you doing that. We always begin with the Pledge of Allegiance, and then we'd ask you to remain standing for a moment of silence. Commissioner Sonato, would you lead us in the pledge?
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America, and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
We'll have a brief moment of silence. Thank you, everybody. Would you call the roll, please, Vanessa?
Commissioner Sinata?
Here.
Commissioner Vogler?
Here. We have a quorum. Commissioner Kennedy asked me to note that he had a little very minor surgical procedure yesterday, and he's home. He's doing great. Talked to him this morning, and he asked me to convey, I'm not speaking out of turn. I said, what do you want me to say to explain your absence? He asked me to do that. So he sounded good, and hopefully he'll be back in the saddle very soon. So, but as always, please keep him in your thoughts and prayers. But we have a quorum. We're able to proceed with our business. As with any public meeting, we always have two opportunities for public comment. One in a moment or two, and then before we adjourn, we'll open it back up for public comment. The agenda notes that we also set aside time for any of our elected row officers if they wish to speak, but none of them are here today. They're not required to be at this meeting. And so that does take us to public comment, where the purpose of today's meeting is to discuss a proposed countywide burn ban. But for public comment, we just simply ask if you have any questions or concerns that they be related to county government matters. So I will open it up for public comment. Anybody have anything right now? Okay, hearing none, thank you. The agenda lists the minutes. I would prefer, since this is a special meeting, and Commissioner Sonato, if you don't mind, perhaps we would consider tabling this so that we approve them or consider them at our public regular meeting next week. Would you agree?
Yeah, I concur, Chairman. Commissioner Kennedy will be back. All can be back. So I'm going to move that we table these minutes until our next meeting.
And I will second your motion. We'll take a roll call, please.
Commissioner Sinata?
Here. Yes.
Commissioner Vogler?
Here.
Motion carries.
Thank you. It's not as bad as when I jumped ahead of Dan the other day. Remember that? He's like, called Mr. Kennedy's name and I spoke for him. So don't feel bad. That takes us to commissioner reports and comments. Commissioner Sonato, anything this morning?
Briefly, I just wanted to say I was very pleased with our election office on Tuesday. Everything ran very smoothly up here, and I'm just very happy that we were done by a little after 10 o'clock. I think if it was a record, it was close. And there were no issues throughout Lawrence County. And I thank our public safety director, our sheriff's office, and all the people that work at the polls. And to the people who went out and made their voice known in their voting, they all handled themselves professionally as we asked for at our special meeting. Thank you, Debbie, for your article trying to inform people about everything, poll changes and all that stuff, because that's important, especially on you have a very heavy turnout. So that's really all I want to say today.
Thank you so much, Chris. The reason, as noted, for today's meeting is to consider a request from our public safety director, which we'll turn it over to him in just a moment or so. And I do want to offer my appreciation to not only Mr. Strobel, his staff, and the various, particularly in this instance, the fire chiefs throughout the county. And I know you'll discuss this with us. But I know what you're proposing today is something we take very seriously, and it falls right in line with your role as the public safety director. What we're talking about obviously pertains to public safety. So I want to thank you in advance for all the work you've done leading up to what we're going to be talking about. You've put a lot of time and effort into this, so thank you. So with that, takes us to new business, and we do have, and Debbie, I have my packet here, and we'll get it to you. We do have a proposed resolution from our Public Safety Director, Chad Strobel. So Chad, if you wouldn't mind coming up. Vanessa, what number do we give this proposed resolution?
334.
334. And as we noted, the reason we're here today is circumstances are such that the Public Safety Director, in consultation with others, and again, he'll talk about this, it's his professional opinion that in the interest of public safety, that we implement a countywide ban on open burning. So with that, I'm going to turn it over to you to discuss the reasons behind this request.
All right, so first off, I want to thank you for calling this special meeting to consider this matter at hand. This is not, countywide burning ban is not something that the myself or the county commissioners can just do on a whim. According to the state regulations to consider this, first thing that has to happen is it has to be recommended by 10 fire chiefs or 50% of the fire chiefs within the county, whichever the lesser number is. So I received a phone call Monday regarding some preparation for the election matter from one of our township supervisors. Excuse me. He mentioned that he had heard from a couple people that were asking about a burning ban. I did some research, found out the regulations, put out emails to see if any of the fire chiefs would like to do this, and then did some phone calls. And when I stopped the phone calls and emails, I was up to 15 fire chiefs that were all for it, and we felt something needed to be done. Then once I had those recommendations, I put them on paper and sent them to our district fire forester from DCNR, who has to write a letter of support for the resolution to the county board of commissioners. With that letter of support and the support of the local fire chiefs, we started the process of moving forward on this matter. Now, just some context as to why we're doing this. As of 9 a.m. this morning, we ran the numbers. Since October 22nd of this year, we've taken 35 calls for brush fires. And those brush fires have been all over the county, up north, down south, in Wayne, Perry Township, Pulaski, Wilmington, Hickory, Boland, all the municipalities around have been involved. This was not a one area thing. But 35 brush fire calls since October 22nd of this year. With that and the lack of rain, according to the National Weather Service and DCNR, we're approximately 3.9 inches low on rain for where we should be at this time of year. With nothing in the forecast, no substantial rain events in the forecast, we don't see any relief from this situation in the very near future, at least in the next couple of weeks as far as we can see. We did receive some rain yesterday, which led me to call DCNR National Weather Service this morning to see if what we're trying to do is still pertinent, and if this is something that has passed and we can move on. According to DCNR, we're still at moderate today. However, by the end of the day, we should move back up to a high risk for wildfire down spread. According to the National Weather Service, Lawrence County abnormally dry and moderate drought conditions currently. So the conditions are still there where fires can start and spread. And towards the end of the day, 3, 4 o'clock, the skies are supposed to clear, the wind's supposed to pick back up, and conditions will be perfectly right for spreading the wildfire. Now, we're not alone in this matter. Currently, there are county burn bans in Bedford, Berks, Bucks, Chester, Crawford, Erie, Fulton, Juniata, Lebanon, Northumberland, Venango, Warren, and York counties. Also, DCNR has placed a burn ban in all state parks, state forests, and state-owned campgrounds. And the Pennsylvania Game Commission has implemented a burn ban on all state game lands. So there's no open burning in any of those areas currently. So we're not alone in this. We're not, doing something crazy that nobody else felt the need to do. We're following in line with an issue that is actually taking place. Every time we send somebody out for a brush fire, it puts millions of dollars of equipment on the road. It puts firefighters' lives in danger, and it also causes damage to our residents, their property. We've had vehicles that were involved in these brush fires. We've had buildings that were involved in these brush fires that were damaged or destroyed. So it's becoming a major problem, and there's no real relief in the short term. So I would ask you today, with the support of the county fire chiefs and with the Department of Conservation and Natural Resources, to implement a burning ban on all open burning. As stated in the resolution and the state regulations, this cannot extend beyond 30 days without reconsideration and support from DCNR and the support of the Board of Commissioners. So, any questions you have on the matter, try to answer to my best.
Mr. Strobel, first and foremost, thank you again. Couple of items I'll note. First, I want to, Mr. Sonata touched on this. I do want to thank Debbie Walker in the Newcastle News. You've already written an article about this, and I appreciate the timeliness of that because, as Mr. Strobel noted, it was brought to our attention earlier in the week, but based on state law, we had to advertise this public meeting with 24-hour notice. So the ad went in yesterday, so today was the earliest that we could convene. So in his role as the public safety director, Mr. Strobel did advise residents of our county not to do open burning. And today we're formalizing that fact, but I really appreciate that you folks put that out as quickly as you did, particularly on the week of the election. So again, very much appreciate that. A couple other notes, and I just enter this into the record. I appreciate you've done your due diligence as far as communicating with the fire chiefs. I'll note for the record, I did have the Scott Township Volunteer Fire Department chief contact me by phone urging us to do this. I just want to enter that into the record. One very minor thing you said that I want some clarification on. You listed some of the municipalities in which there have been fires.
Yeah.
And I heard you say Volant. So does that mean Volant Borough, or would that maybe be out in Washington Township, or?
Wilmington Township, I believe their fire was out, they responded as one of.
Oh, the fire department, Homeland Fire Department
Yeah.
responded to the fire in Wilmington Township.
Correct.
Okay.
Apologies, yeah.
But there wasn't, to your knowledge,
No.
a fire in the borough of Volant.
Correct.
Okay.
Not to my knowledge, no.
Okay. I appreciate that. And then finally, before I turn it over to Commissioner Sonata, you have answered my question because it's noted here in the resolution that this is a 30-day ban, that if you come back to us and recommend an extension, we can do so. But if I'm reading this correctly, this will expire on December 7 without us having to take any other formal actions, since it's the language in the resolution states, any burn ban imposed under this section shall remain in effect for no more than 30 days.
Correct. I'm not certain on the procedural. I believe that is the case, that it will expire on its
Okay.
own without any intervention. To renew it, there would need to be a new recommendation from DCNR.
Yes.
You guys for, some of you all for consideration.
And that's noted in here. So if you get to that point, 3 weeks from now or so, and you feel you need to come back and say, hey, we need to extend this. Of course, by then, maybe we'll have had snow. Usually by then we do, but no, I'm glad we're making note of that fact, that this is a 30-day, at this point in time, it's a 30-day ban. Mr. Sonata, do you have questions for Mr. Strobel?
Chad, I think it's important, you say you got responses from 15 chiefs.
That's kind of where I stopped to, keep the ball rolling, but correct.
No one was in opposition.
No, there was a couple, questions and concerns as to how long it would last, who would enforce this, and as stated in the resolution, any local police department, and including the state police, are able to enforce this. And, I would hope that it's kind of a cordial, first warning. I'm not looking to get anybody in trouble or cause any issues. I'm just looking to protect. And the other one was, they were concerned that, they had to get the backing of their local municipality to enforce this, which I understand that, they lead their police department and have to tell them yes to enforce it. But there was no opposition, just a couple of questions, clarification.
Yeah, that's, I would assume, I think the resolution is pretty self-explanatory. It's 30 days.
Correct.
Okay, so we're not putting a permanent burn ban in Lawrence County. I think that's the clarification, people understand. Just my observation from what I've seen out there, I know there was a fire about a week ago, might have been Taylor, it involved potentially a restaurant closing, the Hill House. They had to shut down because of the smoke and everything else.
Yeah, I see that, it was on Hillside behind their
Right.
restaurant, something occurred.
Yeah, so I'm
that,
saying the consequences by not getting this message out and doing this, that could have taken business out.
Correct, yeah.
Okay, and I mean, the points that you make, that you're putting millions of dollars in equipment out there and the lives of firemen, okay, because of a brush fire. Something, we've seen this stuff happen, and if you look at California and some of those states, once this thing starts, it can go a long way, especially in our farming communities out there. Okay, so I think this is reasonable. I think this is something that's important. We appreciate you bringing it to our attention. I mean, because, we don't really understand these things of, the statistics you're showing us unless you tell us. And I just think this is something, the people, the residents of Lawrence County will understand this.
And Debbie and I were speaking this morning, the next part of the meeting, and there's a fire going on out in the Lehigh Valley right now, a huge fire. And after talking with DCNR this morning, the state, for the first time in a very long time, is requesting resources from out of state to help handle that fire. And I believe they have a crew from Minnesota that is in the process of being deployed to come and assist with firefighting efforts here. They're also speaking of extending the time of their seasonal employees who would normally be going off at this time through DCNR because of the campground shutting down and everything else closing for the winter. They're going to extend them possibly through Thanksgiving to help out with the efforts of firefighting. So it's statewide, nationwide. It's a major issue that
You don't really think about, the dry season, what we had, and we had a little bit of rain yesterday, but it wasn't a lot.
right.
You don't really think about this until fire. And that fire caught me when I was on social media. I'm looking at a closed restaurant, smoke inhalation.
Yeah.
It was very close to them. So and that could happen anywhere. And, we're that type of community where we have a lot of type of facilities in rural areas. So I think this is very reasonable, and I think it's something that, to protect the public and to protect the lives of the men and women who serve in the fire departments.
Appreciate this.
All right, thank you, Shannon. Chairman.
Thank you, sir, very much. Included in Mr. Strobel's presentation to us, and we'll enter this into the record, and Debbie will give you the copy, is the correspondence from Mr. Nathan Feiss, who is the district forester / fire warden for District 8, relative to this matter. It's dated November 4. Chad, assuming that we vote favorably on this resolution, will this then be sent out to the 27 municipalities and/or the fire departments?
Yes, we will fax, email to everyone. Also, we're required to send it to DCNR so they can get it uploaded to the Commonwealth's website for DCNR to advertise that as well. And they'll use our channels to get this out there. And I'll probably, I'm not sure which media outlet you send correspondence to, but I have a list of local media that I'll get this out to as well.
I appreciate that so much, and forgive me, because you may have said this earlier, and I'm glad David stuck around. Is this something we can get on our county website? Maybe it's already been done, but if not, can we get something on the county website noting this ban.
Yes.
Thank you. If you could work with Chad on that, greatly appreciated, David. Thank you. Mr. Vanasco, any concerns?
No.
Okay, you're comfortable?
I'm very comfortable.
Okay, good. Well, gentlemen, we've heard the proposal from our Public Safety Director. This is proposed resolution 334. May I have a motion, please?
I move we support resolution 334.
Thank you, Commissioner Sanada. I will second your motion. Any further comments or discussion? Chad, anything else you wish to add?
No, again, I just appreciate your kindness and consideration of this matter, and hopefully we can do a little more protection for this.
It's certainly our pleasure, and again, it goes back to what a great job you and your staff do in terms of your vigilance on matters like this. So all the background work you did in getting us here are very appreciative. We have a motion on the floor that's been seconded. Could we have a roll call, please?
Commissioner Sinata,
Yes.
Commissioner Vogler?
Yes?
Motion carries.
Thank you, Vanessa. Before we adjourn, I will open it back up for public comments or questions. Debbie?
I do have questions now. I know you said that the police departments and the state police can patrol this, but you know there's gonna be people who deliberately ignore it, so what are the penalties?
Do you have that in front of you?
I have it here.
It's on your resolution.
First offense is $100, second offense is a $200 fine, and the third offense is a $300 fine.
We'll be giving that to you, Debbie.
Okay, and also, the city recently had some discussions and passed a measure limiting burning. Does this supersede the city ordinance?
I believe the way the resolution is written, it does not supersede. However, a person cannot be penalized with both. Whichever's the greater, I would believe.
Well, like if the city allows burning in an open barrel, that kind of contradicts what you guys just
Yeah,
said.
this one would take precedence.
So this would
because-
supersede that,
Correct.
okay.
But however, they cannot be, charged with violating the city's ordinance and the county.
I understand.
So yes,
But this one would be the stronger ordinance saying, don't burn at all, right?
correct.
Okay.
And I can confirm that with Attorney Medor just to make sure that, yes, this one would be the higher.
Yeah, thanks.
Anything else, Debbie? Thank you. Any other public comment? Closing comments from my colleague, Commissioner Sanada?
No, I think everything's pretty straightforward. Get this done and keep getting the word out to people. The message is, your paper and ours, potential social media and websites, just to let people know. Like you said, there's always gonna be a few that want to ignore it. But, we just had too many, I think. How many did you say again, Chad?
35 since the 22nd of October.
That's a lot.
Yeah.
Sometimes people don't realize it because, it's not big newsworthy, but the fire company's going out to do it. It just caught my eye, it was all because of that, the Hill House, which has excellent food, and I don't want to see anything happen to them.
And there was one right next to Dairy Farmers of America, Tuesday. The Tuesday was the day I was worried about. It was very warm and windy. And there was one right next to Dairy Farmers of
Wilmington Township.
Wilmington Township, correct. And while that one was going on, there was 3 other ones going on at the same time, all in the same area. So they were strapped. They had no people.
Yeah. Okay.
Thank you, Chris. Let me note just a couple quick announcements. Courthouse will be closed on Monday of next week in observance of Veterans Day. Tomorrow morning at 8:30, we will be convening a special hearing in our role as members of the Board of Elections. There has been a challenge made to some registrations that we're obligated to hold a public hearing on, so that is open to the public, and that will take place at 8:30 tomorrow morning. And then next Tuesday, the commissioners will convene at 10 a.m. for their regular weekly meeting. And if I'm not mistaken, following that next Tuesday is retirement board. Do I have that right? So next Tuesday, at the conclusion of the commissioners' meeting, the quarterly meeting of the retirement board will take place, and that's also open to the public. And I believe that takes care of announcements. Joe or Vanessa, anything we've forgotten?
Yes, sir.
Okay, thank you all. Well, once again, thanks for everything, Chad,
And thank you for your support. I appreciate it.
of course. There being no other business to be brought before the board, could I please have an adjournment motion?
I move that we adjourn.
I will second. All those in favor, please say aye. Aye, opposed, the same sign. Motion carries. The meeting's adjourned. Thank you all. Debbie,
Are you going to live stream that hearing tomorrow?
we plan to, yes. Yes.
Because I won't be here.
Oh, okay. Yeah, right, David, we're gonna,
I have a conflict with something else.